This session is the last session for this series. With this with this lecture, the entire portion of the thermodynamics, which is required for your GATE syllabus, has been covered. And just keep in mind, this portion is to understand. Once you learn from somewhere, uh, and you want to revise your doubt and concept with, and you need to compare with your preparation and the formulas you have with you. This thing only can be done in this lecture. I have not explained each and everything in this chapter, and the entire series only is based on the notes I have taken while my gate preparation. So this is not very helpful for those people who are a beginner in it, and which is completely unaware about thermodynamics. So those people have idea and previously have done some lecture from some other classes, and they want a little bit touch on it. So for those people, this lecture has been recorded, and yeah, uh, this will be helpful if you want to write it down those formulas. Uh, and after writing down these formulas, it is quite helpful to remember and to use while solving your numericals. If you write it down at some book, and you make a separate notebook for this formulas, so if you got stuck somewhere in while solving those numerical, you can directly go to that formula, and you can use it. Trust me, those formulas, almost 70% of the content will come through it, and uh, almost the gate used to ask the basis of this formula. Only thing is they used to change their language, and also the formula, which will remain same. Only thing, when they used to find out, in some cases they used to find out the one parameter, and in another case they used to find out the different parameter. So you have to keep in mind, once you understood that formula and the concept behind that, it will be very useful for you, very helpful to solve that numerical. So this chapter, the today's session is only to understand, because gate mostly not focus on this chapter, and they never use question from this. But due to the number of people got increase for who is preparing for gate, and due to that, those people need to create more set of your gate exam. So that is why there is a chance, there is a little probability that the question will might come from this section as well. So you should familiar with this, and need not to give much attention on this, but you should thorough with this formula. If anyhow the question will come on this topic, you at that moment you will be able to give the answer for this. And here we start the first chapter in this lecture, which is nothing but the thermodynamic relation. And here only relation between this parameter, the measurable parameter and unmeasured parameter. So this is we are going to see, and another in which we are going to see the compressor. So in that condition, one simple question they were mostly asked, the work input and the volumetric efficiency for that compressor. Apart from that, this two question they never used to ask, but most of the this test series which were conducted by your Gate Academy and S, these people will take the question from entire syllabus. And yes, in this syllabus, in that test series you will find out the number of question from this two section as well. So if we start from the thermodynamics relation here, the first relation which shows that TdS equal to du plus PdV. This relation we have previously seen, that TdS equal to dH minus VdP. These are the relation which is used for the different condition, and I have explained while uh, cover the last section. So the escape function, which is denoted by g equal to h minus ts, and Hamilton function, which is related to f equal to v minus ts. And this is another this is the compression factor, which is only I have heard while solving those day series. In this condition, it is denoted by z equal to pv divided by rt, and for z, for ideal gas is equal to 1, and for gas in a random pressure, which is z value always less than equal to 1, and for volumetric condition, it's greater than 1. And another equation is van der Waals equation for the real gas. So this equation mostly they used to ask the basic formula, and they used to find out the different numerical on this, which is basically from the first three chapter. So this formula is represent the van der Waals equation, and they sometimes used to calculate the temperature. So there you can find out the temperature as well as they used to find out they sometimes they used to ask the unit of this parameter, which is which were hold in this formula. So so after this equation, while doing the lecture, while attending the lecture inside the S Academy, the Shivam Sir had told this relationship a very easiest manner, that the Pawan sir is very talented. This formula is you can draw with respect to that, and uh, you have to move with this word that Pawan sir is very talented. And if you move that arrow with respect to that moving arrow, then it will be you take an example which is written just right to that graph. So dp, nothing but the first arrow is blue arrow, which is moving from the p to s and p. So that is nothing but the change in pressure with respect to entropy, and which is at the constant volume, where the arrow where the end of the arrow where start the end of the arrow is there, it is nothing but the starting of that equation, and the head of the arrow, that is nothing but where this quantity is constant. And just keep in mind, if the arrow head which is at the down in any side, so that is nothing but you have to take minus sign to that quantities. And here the p, where the arrow of that head is uh, locating downward, so we have taken negative sign to that parameter, which is equal to the another parameter, which is the black arrow have denoted, which is transfer from the t, v and s. So in this condition, the arrowhead is upward, that's why this quantity will be the positive, and the formula uh, is it's denoted by change in temperature with respect to change in volume at constant enthalpy. And similarly you can move from the other, and in this condition there will be no arrow which is heading downward. So in this condition both the parameter will be positive. And another right to this two equation, there is some relation which shows for thermal compressibility. So in that condition, this equation k is equal to I isothermal condition equal to 1 minus v 1 minus 1 divided by v in bracket dv by dp at constant temperature. And another is the coefficient of volume expansion, so which is denoted by beta, and beta is equal to 1 by v in bracket dv by dp dt at constant pressure. These are the simple equation which are directly used to ask. And another is relation. Yeah, by heart you have to remember this, because to remember to understand this concept is quite you have to remember the entire derivation, which is quite lengthy to understand, and as not useful to useful for the gate examination at all, because in gate examination they were never used to find, they were never used to ask such question which is based on the derivation. So uh, nowhere you have to derive the derivation. After that you have to the find out this relation. So that is why the most of question which is not also asked on this chapter. And here is the another uh, another formula which is called as the cyclic relation, which is vary with respect to pressure, temperature, and volume. So you have to keep in mind that first is change in pressure with respect to volume at constant temperature. Now here the pressure is constant, every time you have to keep one thing as constant. Now pressure is varying with respect to volume at constant temperature. Afterward the volume is varying with respect to temperature at constant pressure. After that the temperature is vary with respect to the pressure at constant volume, and the multiplication should be equal to -1. So this question is also directly used to ask, and uh, they will they will ask you the what is the this is the multiplication of these three quantities equal to become, and that answer will be -1. Here is the slope of the TS curves. So this is already we have seen in the previous lecture. And here is the another factor, which is Cp minus Cv. We have seen for the ideal gas, which is nothing but R, but for the other thing. So you can find out with respect to now minus T in bracket the change in volume with respect to temperature square at constant pressure, multiply by change in pressure at the volume at constant temperature. In this condition, you should remember that temperature is always negative, and the between quantity, which is uh, there is a simple way to remember what which quantity is negative in this right side portion of that formula. So as you see in that Cp minus Cv will be always positive because of the Cp value, which is always show the higher magnitude compared to the Cv values. So just because of that, this quantity always shows the positive result, and if it is right, left side of that equation will become the positive all the time. So the right side should always the positive. So the negative size, which is multiply for to this, and temperature will be always in the positive form. But why is that? Because temperature is always in the absolute form, which is when we used to add into this equation. And the negative sign, which has to be eliminated from this formula, and which can be eliminated by the last quantity of that dp by dv at constant temperature. So that is nothing but here the pressure is inversely proportional to the pressure. um, so but here it is shown that it is directly proportional, which is shows the uh, which is logically incorrect. So that's why you should keep in mind that here the pressure is inversely proportional to volume, but here it is taken as directly proportional. So that is why this is the negative value in this equation. This is Caprion equation. We have previously seen this Caprion equation basically used to find out the change in pressure at the saturation and phase change condition. So here change in pressure at temperature at saturation condition is equal to latent heat divided by temperature at saturation temperature, and the specific volume at the FC, that is nothing but the specific volume of the fluid plus gas. This is how this equation, and another is called Joule Kelvin effect, where the temperature is reduced, and we have seen that the thermostat, the expansion valve, and the throttling process, in which most of the condition where the temperature of that outlet of that the content which is taking out of that device, it depend on many factor, that if it is ideal, this neutral gases or ideal gas, there will be no effect on the temperature of that thing, because it is not getting hotter after passing through device. In this condition, it is denoted by mu value. If mu value is positive, that is nothing but the cooling effect taking place after passing through device. If the mu value become negative, that is nothing but while passing through this device, the air or the thing is going through that pipe is the device which is going to be heat. And if it is zero value, that is nothing but the temperature of while passing through this device will remain same. And that can be also denoted on the curve, which is inversion curve, and which is inversion curve is nothing but the curve you can see the whichever I have drawn on the name written, that Joule Kelvin effect. And there I have drawn one small curve. If it the mu value is under that curve, like left side to that curve, which shows the positive value of mu. And as you move from this curve to the right side, then there the mixture shows the positive negative value of your mu. And if you move through this curve, which shows the zero value of your mu. So on the basis of the inversion curve, inside the inversion curve you get positive value of mu, that is nothing but the cooling effect after the passing through these devices. If it is right side to the your inversion curve, then there will be heating effect after passing through these devices. This is how you have to remember this. And here is the end of this relation. This relation is quite important to understand. And now we move to the second chapter. In this chapter, we have to see the reciprocating compressor uh, phenomenon. A reciprocating compressor is the device used to compress your air from the low pressure to higher pressure. It has many application. Day to day life, you can see a many application. You will see a daily life. So in this condition, you have to press atmospheric air to the certain level, just like your bicycle tire, where you take to the puncture. If it has punctured you, or the pressure is getting low inside your tire, you went to the shop, and there you can see the compressor which is readily available, and single cylinder. It depend on the capacity of the compressor it is required. And the size of that compressor is getting increased, while if you need more pressure out of it, uh, the more bigger compressor you can see at the malls, and the workshops, where the duct kind of refrigeration system where use. In that condition, the bigger compressor is required. In that condition, they used to use a bigger compressor. And first, if you went to the shop, the first you can see that it was driven from the motor with the belt drive. And it has one cylinder which is uh, which is cover the cylinder which is covered by the fins, which is nothing but used for the cooling effect. While compressing the air inside that cylinder, it get heated. And just after getting heated, the specific volume of that air is getting increased. And that's why it will take more space inside the tank. And that will be not good for your tank. If you want to compress more inside that tank, you have to keep that specific volume of that air compressor. It should be a minimum. So that's why if more compressor, if you take more, if you need to compress your air at a very high compression ratio. So in that condition, the intercooler were used in between this high pressure compressor and low pressure cylinder. These had two cylinder for the two cylinder compressor. So in that condition, the specific volume of that compressed air is getting reduced. It has shown on the PEP diagram, which can see the P1 pressure is nothing but the atmospheric pressure, and P2 pressure is nothing but the pressure while after compress. The first you have started with the bottom of where the inlet shows the suction of that air from into the cylinder, and after that you start compressing it. The pressure, that volume is getting reduced and the pressure is going to increase. We have done this phenomenon, this compression with respect to three cycle, where first cycle, which is uh, uh, first from the left, which is nothing but the constant temperature cycle, then the polytropic cycle, then adiabatic cycle. In this condition, we can assume, and we can directly seen from the diagram that PP diagram always contain uh, the area which is nothing but the work hold by the cycle, and in this condition the work is not generated, the work is consumed. So the minimum amount of the area which is covered by that cycle will be the more effective cycle. And as you see on this chart, that shows the isothermal process is the wonderful process in which the amount of work you need to compress that air is getting reduced. And intermediate cycle, which is nothing but polytropic cycle, and the more amount of work is required in the adiabatic cycle. So mostly the intercooler is used to reduce temperature of that, so it will become the isothermal process. So if it will become the isothermal process, the work input to that compressor is getting reduced. And while there will be the two cylinder which used to compress at higher pressure. So first cylinder will be the lower pressure cylinder, and second will be the higher pressure cylinder. And the high pressure cylinder has a small size compared to the low pressure cylinder. And the if you want to find out the efficiency for that compressor, the first efficiency you can find out the adiabatic efficiency, which is nothing but the work generated or work consumed by the adiabatic process divided by work consumed by this compressor. And secondly, the formula for the isothermal efficiency, in which the efficiency at isothermal process divided by efficiency at the compressor, at the work input to the compressor. And now you take the for the polytopic process, because the ideally we are very well aware that isothermal process is not occur in a real condition. And in this manner we have assumed that the process is polytropic process. In this process, if you want to find out the work work is added to this compressor. And here I have taken for the without clearance, that is nothing but the compressor, the cylinder which will not having any clearance volume. So in that condition, the work which is added into this process will become n equal to divided by n minus 1 p1 v1 in bracket p2 divided by p1 raised to gamma n minus 1 divided by n minus 1. And this formula is instead of P1 V1, you can write MRT1, because we use ideal gas to compress. And another cycle, we have taken the clearance volume in the account. So in this condition, the clearance volume is always there, which is denoted by VC, and the swept volume, which is a VS. But there will be no effect of the work, the compress the work input to this cycle. It will be remain same if you provide clearance to it, and without clearance the work input to that cycle will remain same. It will never vary. and the formula we have seen previously, it will be remain same for this condition. And from this work input condition, we can comment on this, that the clearance volume doesn't affect on the work per kg of air. That is nothing but the if it does not, the clearance volume doesn't affect the input work required to compress this air. And another formula is to find out the volumetric efficiency, which is nothing but which is very much important to for this chapter, as well as the refrigeration cycle. They are mostly they used to ask this, and it can be written into two form, which is NV. It's like compressor efficiency, which is nothing but the suction volume divided by swept volume. And the clearance volume ratio, C, which is we are using in this formula for the volumetric efficiency, which is C is equal to the clearance volume divided by swept volume. And the first formula for to find out this is 1 minus C in bracket P2 divided by P1 raised to the 1 minus N minus 1. This formula can be written in, if you rearrange that formula, uh, equal to 1 plus C minus C in bracket P2 by P1 raised to the 1 minus 1 divided by N. So if you want to find out the maximum clearance or maximum condition, in maximum pressure ratio out of this, which is nothing but the volumetric efficiency will become zero. And in this condition, if you rearrange that formula, and then the formula in this condition, the pressure ratio will become 1 by C plus 1 raised to the N. If the pressure increase, the volumetric efficiency is decreased, and clearance ratio is increased, the volumetric efficiency is decreased. So when it comes to the volumetric efficiency, just keep in mind whatever increase whatever you change in this formula, it will indirectly changing, it will reduce your efficiency of volumetric efficiency of your compressor. The intercooling, this formula is very famous, that find out the intermediate temperature of intermediate pressure of your compressor, which is nothing but it has two cylinder, which is at lower pressure cylinder, high pressure cylinder. So the intermediate pressure of that two, which is nothing but you can find out with respect to the geometrical mean of that two pressure, which is under root of P1 and P3. And if there is a number of stages is given in this in this compression process, which is nothing but the n number of compression stages will be available. So if you want to find out the pressure ratio for the each cycle, so in that condition you can find out with respect to this. So first, the Pn plus 1, that is nothing but the final pressure ratio, the final pressure of that in that cycle, which is equal to R raised to the power n multiplied by P. P is nothing but Pi is nothing but the initial pressure of that compression cycle, and R is the pressure ratio, and N is the number of stages which is available in that condition. So from that condition, you can find out the pressure ratio for each stage. And if you use the previous formula which we used for the work input to the compression cycle, in that cycle you have seen the work input, that is nothing but n divided by n minus 1 m p1 in bracket the p2 divided by p1 rest to the n minus 1 divided by n minus 1. So only thing has changed is nothing but the n value, which is number of stages. And if you want to find out the work input, which is work is needed per stage, so in that condition only thing is changed, you have to multiply that p final divided by initial pressure raised to the gamma minus 1 divided by n into n. This is only for the per stage. And if you want to find out the the work input for the total stages. So you have to multiply with both space of firstly at the initial that n capital N into multiply by small n divided by n minus 1, and similar the above formula you have used for the single stage. And there is another relation which where you can find out the pressure and diameter of that, so which is nothing but d1 square p1 equal to constant. So from this formula you can find out. And another, this formula is related to your IC engine. So in this condition, we know the indicated power, which is nothing but PM AL N divided by 60. So PM is nothing but the mean pressure, AL nothing but the volume, sort volume, and N is nothing but which is depend on the four stroke number of cycle, or you can say the number of stroke. So this way you can find out the indicated power. So from the indicated power, if you want to find out the efficiency, indicated efficiency is nothing but the indicated power divided by total the heat your input through this cycle, and the heat is nothing but the mass of fuel you burn multiply with the calorific value of that fuel. And for the same condition, if you find out the indicated specific fuel consumption, uh, so in that condition you can find out with respect to mass of fuel which you burn and divided by the amount of indicated power which were generated out of that fuel. So that can be represent the kg of kilowatt hour. So similarly for the brake power, so brake power is nothing but 2 pi nt, and we can write indirectly write as omega t. So n is nothing but the rpm, and t is the torque. So this is how you can find out the brake power. Brake power cannot be calculated directly, so you have to first calculate the torque of that engine generated, and after finding the torque you can find out the brake power. And if you find out the brake efficiency, brake thermal efficiency, so which is nothing but the brake power divided by the mass of fuel which is burned, and you multiply by its calorific value. If you find out the brake specific fuel consumption, which is nothing but the mass of fuel divided by brake of fuel. So just keep in mind this formula is almost same. Only thing is changed its power with respect to, if it is asked with respect to indicated or with respect to the brake power, you have to you have to replace that power according to the question. And if they used to ask the mechanical efficiency, which is nothing but the brake power divided by indicated power. And if they ask the mechanical efficiency, indicated mechanical efficiency, which is nothing but the efficiency at brake thermal divided by efficiency at the indicated uh, thermal efficiency. And here the mass of fuel, which is written in the rate, which is kg per second, and calorific value, which is taken joule per kg. And this is how this is the end of this thermodynamics. And then in the next series we are moving to another subject. So from today onward, we will be starting on the different subject. Mostly I will start on the SOM, which is the most important subject for this gate as well, because almost it asks about 8 to 10 marks. So see you there.